It's time for RiffTrax.
We must expose not only the swindler's tricks, but
Howard Dean is the great and powerful Oz.
Susceptibility to them. All of us must work together to prevent this type of crime.
Monsieur Bunco, I will endure no more of your insults. En garde, Bunco!
Ah, so Bunco must mean rolling through stop signs.
Guess that makes me a Bunco artist.
Here we are, honey, a dream vacation in beautiful Barstow, California.
Wow, everything is so beige.
Uh-huh. And they have a slightly larger than normal Howard Johnson's.
Ooh.
This couple could well be a sales manager and his secretary preparing a legitimate sales campaign.
Hey, ever stop to think they both might be
There's nothing
secretaries, you
sinister or
sexist pig?
threatening about telephone books and street maps. They help salesmen reach likely purchasers of useful articles and
Great
services.
job packing. You know you can't wear that
Or
phone
they
book
may
to your
be used
sister's
by
wedding, right?
professional criminals like this Bunco team who systematically and efficiently defraud citizens of their life savings.
And get a
For
few
the
sweet
Bunco
hotel
artist,
towels
and
out of the deal,
honest
too.
Businessman, the fewer wasted efforts, the bigger. Most Bunco schemes are divided into 4 phases. Phase
Mabel
1, the
Hanson,
victim
prepare to be
selected.
asked if your refrigerator
Phase
is
2,
running.
It is determined if he has enough money to make the effort worthwhile. Phase 3, the victim is persuaded to get the cash into his own hands. And Phase 4, the money is taken away from him.
Phase 5, reconnect with your
Experience
dad.
and planning
Forgive him and
are
set
all
yourself
on the
free.
side of the Bunco artist. He sets up the rules of the game. The victim never knows he's playing a game until he has lost.
Now he
In
sits
this
without his
bank
kidneys in a
examiner, Bunco,
bathtub
high
filled with
priority is
ice.
given to women with time-honored first names like Matilda, Minnie, Ophelia, and Maud.
Please, her actual
God's
full
favor
name
that they
is,
will be of
and
an
then
older
there's
generation
Maud.
and living alone. This pin marks the location of the Bunco artist's apartment, their center of operations.
Bunco artists often
Addresses
forget
of
where they
potential
live.
victims will be checked against the map. Only those living within the target area will qualify. When completed, the map will show the location of victims' homes and the various neighborhood banks in which they have their accounts.
Men like Bill Rube at 123 Soccer Street.
Mark your funding prospects?
Mrs. Cora V. Madison, 844 Cypress Drive.
Good, and please acknowledge that my bald spot is silvery and distinctive.
She's only 8 blocks from our apartment. Any others?
Ophelia Dinsmore, 3214 Logan Avenue.
Ophelia Dinsmore? That's a flat-out Monty Python name.
Too far away.
Dinsmore.
Next.
Viola Dahl, 2837 Hadley.
The fraudulent operator has and move on, the better his chances of escaping arrest.
Oh, your hostile dismissive hand gestures are a hoot.
A long list of prospects has been completed. Now, the Bunco artists enter Phase 1 of their operation, selecting the victim.
May I speak to Mrs.
That Ophelia
Matilda
Dinsmore
Johnson,
has
please?
got me hot.
Mrs. Johnson, I'm Mrs. Winthrop at the Guardian National Bank.
You can't see it, but I
I'm
have
calling
weird
in
dead
regards to one of
eyes.
your checks. It's been returned for insufficient funds. Oh, you have a son. Sorry, you're the wrong Mrs. Johnson.
We were looking for Ladybird, that stupid, gullible idiot.
Mrs. Emma D. Hastings.
But I don't have a checking account at
God,
Guardian
they're
National.
conning the Crypt
You
Keeper.
don't? Then you have a savings account.
Yes, I do. But not at your bank.
He's rolling up his sleeves to beat the
That's
crap
certainly-
out of that woman's savings account.
Mrs. Hastings, I'll have to recheck our records. Oh, to help trace the discrepancy, where do you bank?
The Surety Bank on Colorado.
While you're on the
I'll send this
phone, I'll be
information
completely
over to Mr.
obliterating our shared
Whitfield, our
bathroom.
assistant manager.
FYI.
You'll probably hear from him or your own bank a little later. Thank you so much for your cooperation, Mrs. Hastings.
Now, do I call the hit first or the cleaner? I always forget that. Oh, the hit, of course.
Ooh, this is the legendary action sequence where they cross-reference the bank locations with the phone directory.
Right, cream of chicken soup, and then put the turkey fried onions on top.
That's my little chef.
This new arrival is the only member of the Bunco gang that the victims
Come on in,
will ever
grab a phone
see.
book or a
This is
map
the
or a
bag
pen.
man to whom they will cheerfully hand over their money. Now the Bunco operation enters phase 2. Find out if the potential victim has enough money to make the effort worthwhile.
Hey, do you have enough money to make this effort worthwhile? There's got to be a more clever way to do this.
Mrs. Hastings? Mrs. Hastings, this is Mr. Buzzkirk.
Buzz Kirk, not Buzz Cock. Let's not be juvenile, Mrs.
I
Hastings.
understand that you had a call from Guardian National regarding a check.
They certainly have their nerve saying I wrote a bad check.
I can understand how you feel, Mrs. Hastings. And that's why I'm calling you to apologize.
On behalf of the whole Bunco community. I mean bank. On behalf of the legitimate and respectable bank community.
Mrs. Hastings, this is a very delicate matter.
Please don't tell anyone I dye my
trust you
eyebrows.
to keep it in the strictest confidence.
Yes, of course.
Fine. I can't tell you how shocked I was to learn that one of our own employees was tampering with our records.
He looks like if Ted Knight and Martin Landau had a 55-year-old
I'm
baby.
sure that your account is in order. Would you mind telling me what your passbook number is?
It's right here, Mr. Buskirk.
Yes, it's 825 eat my ass, you thieving son of a
Mrs. Hastings, please.
420-673. Mrs. Emma D. Hastings. Correct. And now your bank balance?
$14,312.34.
But that's everything she's earned as the spokesmodel for Professor Krennic's Egyptian liver cleanser.
$14,312.34. Well, that's fine. That checks right to the penny.
Why, if I had more sleeves, I'd roll them up,
I'm happy to
too.
say that your account was not tampered with, and I'm going to make certain that it won't be.
Are you Willard Scott?
Now, we know who the guilty person is, but we need proof. Now, the FBI recommends that we ask the cooperation of one of our trusted depositors.
Hey, business tip, always have a crack team of people
The
staring
FBI
at you
and
while
the
you
bank
talk
is
on the
actually
phone.
Very grateful to you. And let me assure you, you'll be very well compensated for any time and trouble that you take. Now, can I count on you?
Finally, a chance to apply her knowledge of scrapbooking and water aerobics to a high-stakes FBI investigation.
Listen carefully and try to remember every word I'm saying. Leave your house at exactly 2:15.
What?
She found a golf cart to be too flashy and dangerous.
Go to your bank and immediately proceed to the most convenient teller's window.
Wear the mask of a past president, rob it, then go surfing.
So don't say a word to anyone. Withdraw
Plan never would have worked had they not stuck a pin in their current location.
$112.34 in your account. Have the teller put the bills in a separate envelope.
She's gonna make it rain on that handsome young waiter at the Sizzler.
To your home.
Just keep the shrimp scampi coming, Magic Mike.
To anyone. You will be met by Special Agent Curtis of the FBI, who will show you his identification.
Hey, look, one punch left for a free 6-cent sub. I mean FBI. I'm FBI.
There it will be treated with a chemical visible only under ultraviolet light. The money will be returned for you to redeposit in your account.
No, the money, not the half-full sweet and low package you took from Denny's.
Guilty employee.
There's value in
Here's
those.
a receipt for the $14,000, Mrs. Hastings. On behalf of the chief, thank you. You know, our job would be more rewarding if there were more citizens like you.
Rewarding. Just do your job, government teat sucker.
Most salesmen who come to your door offer legitimate products and services. On the other hand,
Harry Crane from Mad Men falls on hard
How my
times.
company can afford to put this brand new encyclopedia in your home absolutely free.
I just need you to ensure the internet is never invented, rendering our product useless.
That every community has its natural leader, its pace setters. You're familiar with these motivation and research surveys? Well, my company has made a survey of the better class areas in several key cities. And when the results were run through our computers...
Whoa,
we came
tell
up
a
with
woman
list
she
of
lives in
people
one of several
friends
key
and
cities and
neighbors
she's yours for
regarded them
life.
as pace setters in their community. Mrs. Brown, you were on that list.
Really? Well, I had no idea.
Don't mean to brag, guys, but I too have been on dozens of secret made-up lists. Oh, yeah.
In what you wear, what you buy, are a strong influence on your friends. And that is why we've chosen your home as our demonstration home with this brand new encyclopedia. Now, isn't that a handsome addition?
Pinchbeck's multiplex?
nice.
Sounds like the nerdiest wrestling move.
We know what will happen when your neighbors come into your home and see your new books. When they see your children getting better grades in school.
Ruling the other children,
Even
making the
enjoying
world
their
a
home.
hell realm in which they're the only kings.
It'll just make my job a lot easier when we launch our sales campaign later in the year. Now, as an added bonus...
I'll show you my
permitting us to
model
put our
planes.
encyclopedia in
No?
your home, our company is offering a generous referral plan. Could you use a little extra spending money?
Well, I suppose anybody could.
And by anybody could, I mean anybody
So for every million
could.
you give us that results in a sale of an encyclopedia, we're going to give you a commission of $25 in cash.
Why, we could finally
Your
afford to get
okay
even
here
longer
is
shag
all that's
carpet.
required to entitle you to those commissions. Also, it authorizes us to photograph you and your family in your beautiful home enjoying your new encyclopedia for our advertising in national magazines.
So, just to give us options, I'll take nude photos of you now, and we'll add the clothes in later.
Well, I can hardly wait to tell my husband.
How could you do a thing like this? Don't you read anything before you sign it? Don't you think?
And roast beef? What do you think we are, millionaires?
Oh, David.
Honey, I'm sorry I blew my stack. It's not your fault. It's this.
Our oppressively ugly home, it's killing me.
Will you let me explain what we got ourselves into? Well, in the first place,
You're a dumb, helpless
nothing written
woman.
in here that says you get $25 for referrals or leads.
But the man said that...
I don't care what he said. We can't hold him for oral promises, but we can be held for this,
Honey, I may have
What
made
you
some
actually
oral
signed is a
promises
sales
as
agreement.
well.
binding us to a long-term installment contract with maximum interest. We could have bought 2 sets of books for this price.
Maybe those
How could
Hardy
I
Boys
say
novels
so?
I've been meaning to tackle.
Oh, honey, you're not stupid. That salesman just got you concentrating on free encyclopedias and on being
A pace setter in my community.
Twisting the knife of envy into your neighbors with your
Next time you ask him just to leave a
encyclopedias.
copy of the agreement, and we'll go over it together. If he's on the level, he won't object.
Men never rip off
You're
other
so
men. It's
smart.
true.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, I am. Ever since I signed up for that free exercise machine a couple of years ago.
The George Hamilton-ness enhancer?
Property owners are naturally eager to save money on home improvements. Some, however, are too eager.
Look at this eager idiot, all eager for his newspaper. Calm down, man.
Nice looking place you got here, mister. Must take a lot of work.
What do you say I burn it down for you?
That roof, though. Use some waterproofing for the rainy season.
It's a long time off.
Of course, you'll have to do it now. We got the equipment.
David
to
Lynch,
know
I
how.
said stay in the truck.
When we're
Stay.
done, you'll have a roof good as new. All for $100.
Damn my eager nature.
What's the catch? There's no catch. And we just finished a big job here in the neighborhood.
Scammed a guy so
Contract
hard.
with
I
some
mean,
top-grade material left over. You know what I mean?
That 100 include labor?
It's all labor. Well, it's like this. I mean, driving by, we seen your roof. And we figured we could make a few bucks.
Did he say
Do you
rough?
a favor and let our boss
Heart
sort
dog.
of donate the materials. Get the picture?
Okay.
Get to work.
I'll be inside ordering hundreds of Columbia House subscriptions. Can't lose.
oh, I see the Bunco machine, so they can bunkify his roof. That's good. You gotta bunkify.
You don't really get what Bunco is, do you, Mike?
No, not at all.
Give your house that nice, barely survived a kitchen fire look.
Yeah, that's typical. One guy works, one guy watches, one guy gets his bunk ready to sell to Bunco.
Still confused about the Bunco thing, aren't you?
Very, I don't know what it is.
Where's the rest of it?
We were promised cherry
What you
cokes
asked
and Mars
for,
bars.
$100.
You trying to pull a fast one, Buster? We said 400. That's right, 400. Well, you said...
I see. So I guess our romantic
Now,
getaway
what?
to Ibiza was just
you
a
can't
lie,
put anything
too.
over on me. Just come up with the other 300 or you're in big trouble.
That's a threat. I'll have the police here so fast it'll make your head swim.
Even if we do have the same
You do
exact
that.
male
Call the
pattern
cops.
heads.
Tell them you made a deal to fix your roof with stolen materials. Go ahead. But your neighbors know what kind of a fink they got living next door to them.
Fink? Are his neighbors a Wizard of Id cartoon?
You don't think I keep that much money around the house? I'll have to go to the bank.
We'll go with you.
I've been meaning to buy a savings bond for my godson.
Of course, there never was a big job with leftover materials. Just two bunco men with a smooth line, a rented truck, and a few gallons of cheap, low-grade oil.
Meanwhile, Tobias and Job were determined to get into the bunco game themselves.
The pigeon drop is one of the most notorious of bunco schemes.
And
It
one of the
has many variations,
sexiest.
and although often exposed, continues to flourish.
Pardon me, dear. I've been admiring your hat.
Would you like to trade it for some low-grade oil?
Thank you. Oh, I've had it for several years, but I'm delighted that you like it. It's actually a favorite of mine.
Wow, the last season of The Golden Girls got really racist.
This neighborhood has changed so much in the last few years.
Oh, I was thinking the very same thing when I was in the bank depositing my insurance check. You see, dear, one never knows.
Right, W.C. Fields was good in everything.
I mean the uncertainty of things. You see, Fred took out this policy in the best of health. 2 months later...
Best of health? He must have been born during the Buchanan administration.
Passed away 9 years ago. He didn't leave much insurance, but I managed with what we saved over the years.
Excuse me. You ladies know how long since the last bus passed?
No.
Ugh, they'll take any opportunity to bring up buses since you know who.
All across here. The doctor says it's nothing to worry about, but sometimes in the night.
Look here.
Who left this encyclopedia set here?
I found it under the bench. Ain't no name on it. Maybe it says inside who it belongs to.
Nope, just Gwyneth Paltrow's head.
At that. Oh, must be $1 million here. And look, that's just a whole lot of scribbling.
Blueprint for Apple Computer. Toss it into the garbage.
Numbers adding to $30,000. These are bookmaking slips. Do you know what you found? $30,000 in gambling money.
All these bets are on baby racing.
Some old
Weird.
gamblers got all that money, and honest poor folks don't hardly have any.
Well, the gambler hasn't got it now, and he won't dare advertise for it or report his loss to the police.
Most grandmas are well-versed in the numbers racket.
That's right. And to think it was lying under the bench all the time. Why, I could have found it, or you could have found it.
You fixing to tell the police about this money, and then they're going to confiscate it, and you'll get a reward, and I'll get nothing.
Hadn't crossed my mind, but that's a great idea.
Unless I was to divide this money amongst the three of us, $10,000 apiece. Then I'd bet nobody'd go loud-mouthing to police.
Bunco! I mean, this isn't a bunco.
And I'm sure 3 of us could put it to better use than the police or that crooked old gambler.
Cut to the gambler deciding which of their toes to cut off first.
That's right.
Now, just a minute. Just a minute. How do I know that y'all would share the $30,000 with me if it was you found it first?
Madam, your resemblance to homeless Felicia Rashad has earned my eternal trust.
I'd share. Talk is easy. But before I buy up all this money, I got to have some evidence of good faith. Show me your good faith.
That's what the dorkier frat boys yell at Mardi Gras.
I come from a family of means. I know how to handle money. And I'm sure you do, don't you, dear? You're dealing with responsible and reliable people.
For a change.
Oh,
Sorry.
talk.
Hard to turn 9 decades
But
of bigotry
I'll show you how you
off.
can prove you got good faith. You got money in the bank?
Yes, I have.
Which bank?
In the Reliable Trust.
That's my bank, too.
Well, let's go down there and
Okay.
talk to them for
Now
hours
go
about
right.
reverse
Grab the
mortgages.
money, and let me see it. Let me hold it right here in my hand.
All right. Let's go to the bank, dear, huh?
We may get lucky. It may be free stale
In the
powdered
pigeon
donuts
drop
cut into
bunco,
quarters
the victim
day.
is swept along with the expectancy of receiving a large amount of money. The lure of something for nothing has temporarily lulled her judgment and her common sense.
The cast of To
In this
Wong
version,
Fu
the victim's
aged terribly.
conscience is given a sleeping pill by offering her this tempting rationalization. The supposedly found money belonged to a gambler. outside the law.
We just added the needless
Like most
racism to make it
competent
weird
games,
for you.
The pigeon drop succeeds not because of the stupidity of the victim and the intelligence of the swindler, but because of a human trait possessed by both, greed.
Yes, 19th century British women inexplicably living in 20th century LA are greedy too.
Ah, her unmentionables. They really, really are unmentionable.
Stop mentioning them.
Sorry.
Ah, she's feeling smug because her car is even smaller than that other old bag's.
Here she comes. There's $10,000 there. You can count it if you want to.
Oh, no need of that, lady.
This scam is so convoluted it hardly matters.
Good faith. It's your turn now, honey.
I'll go with you, dear, because I want to redeposit this right away. Believe you me, you never can tell what happens on the street these days.
Hulking, egg-shaped women scamming your money.
What's that now?
They're nothing, dear.
She's thinking about her deluxe apartment in the sky. I guess.
Put it in here, dear. It'll be safer. That's much better. There you are, dear.
Ooh, now Paul Newman comes out and fake shoots Robert Redford, and somehow they all get rich.
It's nearly $9,000.
You sure got good faith, too, honey.
Your money reeks of mothballs, but I'm sure it spends the same.
There. That's right, dear.
Now, honey, you just take this money right on back in the bank. Then we gonna divvy up this $30,000.
Ooh, I can finally get that pelvic mesh surgery I've had my eye on.
Oh, well, looks like I'm going to be doing some serious wiping.
Oh, now I'll have to live out my remaining years on my coffee discount at Dunkin' Donuts.
By the time the victim discovers his loss, the Bunco expert has usually fled to enjoy the proceeds of his crime.
Please
Even
show
when
these
the
two
criminal is
enjoying the
arrested,
proceeds of their
prosecution is
crime.
often difficult. In cases where the Bunco artist is convicted and sent to prison, only rarely does the victim recover his money.
Usually the cops take it
So
and buy
how
beer.
could our 4 Bunco victims have prevented being defrauded? Well, let's give them something they would never have in real life, a second chance.
A chance to
Emma
live out the
Hastings
remaining
had
11
just
hours
received
of her
a phone
life in
call from a
peace.
man claiming to be an official at her bank and asking questions about her account.
Clemencia, the call came in. We're going to the mattresses.
No, Mrs. Hastings, there's no such person at the bank, and you did the right thing in calling us. No legitimate bank official would advise a depositor to make such a large withdrawal of cash for any purpose.
Yes, I am a greasy ginger, but what's that got to do with
I'll
anything?
personally report this matter to the police.
Again, the salesman persistently presses her to sign a document he claims is only a formality.
Could you leave this agreement here so my husband and I could go over it together?
He's in hell.
The homeowner is offered a chance to save money by using materials left over from a big job in the neighborhood.
He also threatened his life. You're kind of burying the lead here.
Give me a minute to talk it over with my wife. Operator, this is an emergency. Please connect me with the sheriff's office.
Does your white t-shirt ever cause your chest to itch?
You should be suspicious of any suggestion that you draw cash out of your account for any purpose.
Buying a
The
home,
procedure is
purchasing
simple
food,
and
please.
safe and effective. Well, they're still out there.
The Jehovah's
Bunco
Witnesses.
artists, the
Just
sharp
don't answer the
operators
door,
looking
ever.
for victims and finding them. Remember, honest merchants and legitimate salesmen invite you to investigate before you buy and before you sign an agreement.
Has this
But the
narrator
Bunco
ever even
artists,
bought a car?
unfortunately, won't be discouraged. They know they'll find plenty of their favorite victims, those of us who believe we can get something for nothing.
I don't know. I'd like to
Those
think
of
my
us who
second
say,
serving of endless
"I'd never
breadsticks at
fall
Olive
for
Garden
that
are basically
kind
free.
of
Hey, is that me wearing pants and a short-sleeved business shirt? I like it.
You remind me of this handsome young crankshaft character.
Excuse me, are you a racist?
Why, yes. Yes, I am.
Pull your pants up to just below your nipples and the ladies will flock to you.
And so, viewers, we leave you with this thought. What the hell is Bunco again?
I don't know. I don't think I know what is the Bunco.
It's time for RiffTrax.
Copyright by RiffTrax, all rights reserved.